What's going on, Gut Gang? Brendan here in front of the Mouthwash station. I'm going to share with you something that you may not know, and I think you're going to find it very valuable. I suggest you no longer use conventional mouthwash, and here's why. On the label, it says kills up to 99% of germs. And what that's doing is it's completely eliminating all of the bacteria in your mouth. Sure, there might be some bad bacteria or pathogenic bacteria. However, there's a full ecosystem of healthy, diverse bacteria that we need for the health of our oral microbiome. This completely disrupts your oral microbiome. In addition to that, it completely depresses all of your mouth's ability to produce nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is imperative for blood pressure, sexual performance, mitochondrial function, and all bodily health. If you don't want to take my word for it, I'm going to add 2 interviews that I did with 2 incredible doctors, Dr. Nathan Bryan and Dr. Nandor Bajuz. So hang tight, watch this, and watch what the doctors say. And also, if you like this, I'm really going to ask you to hit a like, hit a subscribe, because I'm sure you're going to find this very valuable. Check this out.
The microbiome, the bacterial microbiome provides 3 million gene products. So these bacteria that live in and on our body do things that we as humans can't do. So getting rid of them is a bad idea and has enormous clinical consequences. But this was pretty remarkable. We found the people that had normal blood pressure had the greatest diversity in the oral microbiome. People who had pre-hypertension or hypertension had the least diverse oral microbiome. And in fact, there were no nitrate-reducing bacteria that we could culture in the people who had pre-hypertension or hypertension. So we enrolled, I think, 40-something subjects in this study. And then we did daily tongue scrapings, we did blood pressure measurements, and then we gave them mouthwash twice a day for 7 days to see what happens. And then we took them off the mouthwash for 4 days to see how long it took to establish the microbiome. And here are the data. We published this in 2019. But this is data from one 21-year-old dental student. He was a well-trained triathlete. 7 days after we started the mouthwash, his blood pressure went up 26 millimeters of mercury. So we made this 21-year-old kid clinically hypertensive simply by giving him mouthwash. We didn't change his diet. We didn't change his exercise routine. And 4 days after we stopped, his blood pressure normalized. And we were able to pick up the bacteria that disappeared when his blood pressure went up and the bacteria that reappeared when his blood pressure normalized. And I like this analogy of kind of we're batteries, right? We're electrical beings. And, we lose our charge over time. And if we don't recharge ourselves, then these organ systems fail and we die. So we have to recharge. And the way to do this is we have to take nitric oxide, restore endothelial function. That includes stop smoking, stop antacids, stop mouthwash, get rid of fluoride, discontinue mouthwash, and then get 20, 30 minutes of sunlight a day. There's certain wavelengths of light that stimulate nitric oxide production. So we need sunlight to do this.
Why don't we start with you so brilliantly discuss the oral hygiene, because that's where the microbiome starts. And then we'll go into the protocol and then supplementation. And then I would love to go into a couple autoimmune topics, but we'll go into that a little bit later on.
We're filled with bacteria. We're 10 times more bacteria than we are human cells. So I wouldn't be surprised if, bacteria or the microbiome didn't start in the mouth. It actually started, further up into the brain and so forth. But let's just start with the mouth, because we can address the mouth. And so the very best way to optimize your oral microbiome is not through scope and listerine and fluoridated toothpaste and this type of stuff, because all that does is exactly the opposite. It destroys your microbiome balance, your diversity. And remember what causes cavities. Bacteria causes cavities. So if you use scope and listerine and this type of stuff, fluoridated toothpaste, all you're really doing is creating an environment for bacteria to grow that's going to cause you cavities. The number one thing I will tell you guys is 3% food grade hydrogen peroxide. Right here. Everybody see that? 3% food grade hydrogen peroxide. So you can get 3% hydrogen peroxide, but it's not food grade at Shoppers Drug Mart, but that's not what you want. You want the food grade. and you just swish with it morning and night. And that does an unbelievable job of creating an environment so that your oral microbiome, the diversity, is one that's conducive to having healthy gums and teeth. So that's the number one thing you want to do. Again, because, and we're talking about the mouth because that's where the digestive system begins, right? So that's the number one thing you want to do. In addition, so you want to do that at least once a day, once or twice a day, 2-3 minutes at a time. In addition to that, you want to some kind of organic toothpaste. The Organo Gold one is probably the best toothpaste I've ever tried. What I also do is I take a little container and I mix baking soda and Himalayan salt. Mix the two together, maybe like a 50-50 ratio, right? And then take a little bit and sprinkle it on top of the tiny amount of toothpaste that I put on my toothbrush and brush away with that. So that combination with swishing with the 3% food grade hydrogen peroxide in conjunction with the gut-friendly diet is really what's going to give you healthy gums and teeth, and ultimately what you're looking for, which is a healthy gastrointestinal tract, which ultimately will give you a healthy existence.